How about a crash course in emergency management? The Civil Defence Emergency Management Act 2002 sets out the legislative requirements for civil defence emergency management. It recognises the role of the Minister of Civil Defence. It recognises the statutory roles of the Director of Civil Defence Emergency Management at the national level, my role. It also recognises the statutory roles of Controller and Recovery Manager, both at a Civil Defence Emergency Management group level, but also at the national level. It provides for the integrated arrangements that apply across all hazards and risks that could result in an emergency occurring, and provides the powers, the duties and the functions required to address those across risk reduction, readiness, response and recovery. What are your responsibilities in this? Well, you may be delighted to know that there's quite a lot of responsibilities. The Act provides for civil defence emergency management groups a consortia of local government, either within a regional council boundary, which might be district, city or regional councils, or a unitary authority. So Canterbury, as an example, is a CDM group. It has both city, district and a regional council. But Auckland is also a CDM group in its own right as a unitary authority, as is Gisborne. So the diversity of how CDM groups are structured across the country differs because of the geographic makeup of the way that local government is structured. What does this mean for you? Well, there are some governance arrangements in place that help you fulfil your responsibilities under this piece of legislation. A governance group as a joint committee of elected officials for each CDM group that sets out the direction, the decision making and the strategic opportunities that are ahead of you to be able to think about how you manage the risks for your area. You're supported by a group of chief executives from across local government and your CDM group area and the agencies they work with. The Act sets out that there needs to be an integrated approach to thinking about emergency management throughout risk reduction, readiness, response and recovery, which means you will be working alongside agencies that may be national agencies with regional representatives, or agencies that only exist at a regional level, which in some cases is Lifeline Utilities. They are supported by emergency management professionals who do the work of a MINT. It's important for you to understand how these mechanisms work, the way that you will need to think about working with partners like iwi and making sure they're really part of that decision-making process. This is an opportunity for you to bring together different legislative frames like the RMA, the Resource Management Act, the Building Act, the Local Government Act, alongside the Civil Defence Emergency Management Act, to achieve the greatest possible outcomes in terms of building resilience for your community.